What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Hand Tight Racing YouTube channel. You guys heard me talk about this thing before, but the day has finally come where we are going to attempt to put the front WiseFab on it and maybe do a little bit to the rear of the thing too. I've already got it on the lift, just got the wheels off. We didn't have the wheel key, so we had to, that's what he's banging on in there, trying to get the socket out from the other socket that we use. It was a mess. No reason to record that. So, but anyways, yeah, check this thing out. So it's already got an LS swap paired with the T56 on Phytech. It's got electronic power steering like these cars come with. We're gonna change that to E46 rack. It's got Megan coilovers. We're gonna change those. Got BCs, custom spec, DS series, WiseFab front and rear. But this is currently the biggest obstacle to overcome. It has a solid axle swap. So this has got to come out, and we got to get a new subframe in it. So that's going to be lots of fun. So we got the tools, we got the plasma table, we got the welders, we got the knowledge. So should be able to get it done. Just how long that takes is really the question. So we're going to basically jump right into it and get this WiseFab and this E46 rack in here. So yeah, we're just going to kind of dive right into this thing. I'm get these brakes off, get them zip tied up, probably around the control arm for now, even though we're pulling that off later, but I don't really have anywhere else to put it. So when I have some second set of hands pulling the arms off, we'll get that out of the way. But for now, we're just going to move it up and around, get ready to pull the hub and the arms off and the coilovers so we can install our new stuff. So we got that guy out of the way. I'm gonna take the sway bar end link off next from the top side because the whole arm's leaving. So instead of pulling it off the arm, I'll just pull it off here, and when the arm comes down, it'll come down. Alright, so we are currently here. Got this stuff taken off. I kind of goofed on the time lapse because I don't need to take any of this off. We're not reusing this knuckle, so that's leaving. So I was wasting my time, so that's cool. But next thing I'm going to go ahead and do, even though I don't have to right now, is I'm just going to go ahead and pull these two bolts for this arm, because I'm going to need somebody to help me when I pull this arm down, find another location for that guy. So maybe I'll pull this off and it'll free up these two holes up here. I can cut it and do it myself, but for now we're just gonna pull these two guys off. And like I was saying, I still don't have any help yet. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut these zip ties now that I got another hole up here that I can use. And then I'm gonna re-zip tie it to the one on the side of the nut so it's not on this sharp edge one. And then I'll be ready to pull the upper mount off, the coilover from the inside of the engine bay, and then I'll be ready to unbolt this arm and pull it out of there. Well, looks like I finally got some help. He brought his Ford shirt because he knows we ain't working on nothing. I mean, I guess Maz is kind of under the umbrella, but he brought the juice, so I got it zip tied up there. And I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take the bolts out of the upper mount up here, drop this down because it can't go past that. It's just gonna rest on that, and then I'll take these two bolts out, And then that front one, and this arm and this whole left front assembly should be off the car. All right, so we're about to pull this arm on down. So we got the rack out. It's been relocated somewhat with these plates. So I'm hoping to get these plates off and then check out this stuff. I think we're gonna be able to save this subframe. I was kind of concerned that we might have to get a new one depending on what modifications they made, because you need to modify the subframe for the WiseFab. They give you like a jig and stuff, I'll show you that later, to notch it out and relocate it for the E46 rack that we're gonna be using. So we're gonna get to that next. So here's where we're at. We got our rack out. Looks like we're gonna be able to reuse the subframe for sure. And we are opening our fresh WiseFab front kit. Fold those just in case they have the subframe instructions in there. Ooh, sheesh. Got the stickers. Package is not complete without the stickers. So, it's all garbage. I assume those are uppers. That's our tie rod ends and inners. And this is our rack relocator, it looks like. Yep, there's our rack relocator. Sheesh. I'm gonna guess by how big that is, that subframe is gonna have to be drooped at least. That can go. Get that garbage out of here. Get that garbage out of here. We got some knuckles and some uppers. We got the old plasma cutter out. We're gonna cut these guys off right here on both sides. And then we're gonna start modifying this thing for the WiseFab jig that we're hoping to do inside the car. All right, so we got the jig on, bolted in somewhat, and I'm gonna attempt to cut it with the jig on, see how that works out for us. After much work, this is what we got going on currently. So we got the E46 rack adapters things. They're all burned in, ready to go. What I'm gonna do next is, I had to get the plasma cutter again. I'm gonna cut these out right here so that we can have access to these bolts. That's a requirement. If you ever do this install, note that these do not sit straight up and down. That's how the jig came. That's how it shows the jig on the CADs. that WiseFab provides. So that's how they're supposed to look. And if you look at we have an E46 rack, but if you look at the E36, E46 rack, it's kind of slanted like that. So it makes sense. I was kind of concerned about that for a while, but we just decided to go ahead and send it like that. So yeah, I'm gonna cut these holes out and then pull these bolts out, hit it with some spray paint, maybe a wire wheel, and then we should be good to mock up our E46 rack. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up on the first episode of the LS Swap WiseFab RX8. There's a few problems, let me show you. So the rack's mounted, that's great. Rack's in there, it's right where we need it to be. There's some lines back here. I don't know if we're going to be able to reuse the OEM lines, but if not, that's not a big deal. We might be able to reuse them. The biggest issue is this LS swapped motor mount situation here is interfering with the steering shaft, which we also cut, as you can see, because it had been extended for the LS swap stuff. So we're kind of like moving forward and moving backward at the same time with certain things. But we're just cut that motor mount and kind of make it, we'll basically clearance it for the steering shaft. We're going to get a new OEM steering shaft because that's how the WiseFab kit is made to work. But the rack's mounted, which is good. That's a lot of work to do. We can figure out the line situation, the steering shaft situation, and then we'll be ready to put the WiseFab arms on this thing. So stay tuned. And this thing should come together pretty quick now that we've got it up in the air. And we still have a whole rear half to do. Got to figure out how to pull the solid axle out, put the OEM subframe back in. So this is definitely going to be a little project. Tons of work to do to this thing. I feel like we made pretty good progress today, considering that it has an LS swap. We didn't know how the subframe was modified in order to fit the original electronic power steering rack. We plan on doing a Volvo electric power steering rack in this thing, or not power steering rack, sorry. And the Volvo electric power steering pump, which is still hydraulic. It's not EPS by any means like my car or NES 550 or how this car came from the factory. Basically, it's just a electronic power steering pump to power the hydraulics. So make sure you stay tuned, like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and yeah, we'll see you next time.